Hey everyone, it's Zach with Us versus Herd. I'm coming back today with another video about what it's like to trade with Trump, or more simply, does Donald Trump drive the market? That's the question I'm asking today, and I'm going to answer it as well. It seems like a lot of people have this question whether he himself is the entity that's driving the market, whether it's his policies or what he wants to do or what he's currently doing. So we're going to look into some numbers today for starters. So back in November 8th, looking at the S&P, it was at 2,131 points, give or take, obviously, for the 52 piece. But that's what it was at on November 8th. So that's election day, if you didn't know. It's currently at 2357.18. So that's quite some ways. That's a 200 point difference between the numbers, not even mentioning that it did hit in the 2370s, 2380s earlier last week. So that's pretty impressive. Today it's going higher, as we can see from what he's been doing so far. Also, the Dow on November 8th was 18,259, and it is currently at 20,665. That's gigantic. That's 2,000 points added to that. Or if we look at over here, that's roughly $3 trillion in added value to the market. $3 trillion as of today. So that's pretty extensive for just electing a different president. So the question is, why is this happening? Why? Is it Trump? Is it because he's so radical, his ideas are so different that it's going to put more value into investors' pockets, or what does it mean? I do not think Donald Trump himself is the reason that the markets are going, but I think he is kind of the face of this Republican movement, Republican policy movement away from bigger government and more to lesser government. What does that mean? Well, for one, if you elect a Republican president, not only do we elect a Republican president, we elected a Republican president, a Republican House, a Republican Senate, and majority of the governors of the United States are now Republican. So that means he can pretty much do whatever he wants. I mean, not entirely, but for the most part, he can do whatever he wants with little to no opposition, with ruling the majority of the United States with the same party. So what does that mean here? Republican policies are typically lower taxes for people at the top. So people that are investing, especially hedge funds and people who work up in that ladder, are generally richer. They have more money. So what does that Republican policies mean for them? The taxes, it means that they're going to cut taxes for them. And that frees up some capital for them to invest more. So the stock market goes up because they're adding value to it. So when they cut taxes on businesses and other people on the top, then the rest of the economy is loosened up a little bit so that they can spend more money or invest more. Also, they want to cut regulation on Wall Street. So Dodd-Frank, the bill that was introduced to stop banks from getting quote unquote too big to fail, they want to reduce that, or Trump wants to reduce that as well. They also are pro-business, so they do support tax cuts for businesses or smaller businesses and larger businesses as well. So that's also something that will affect the market in a positive way generally. It depends on what side you're on. If you're not pro-business, then you think it's going to hurt the economy. If you are, then you think that it leads to more jobs and more growth. So they are pro-business, pro-growth. They're also a fan of less government, so they don't want to be, putting down laws for every little thing you do, especially on like investing in the stock market. That's important. Just little bit of regulations here and there will make up a different pattern of how you will trade and what you will do in order to avoid those kind of regulations. And they want to fix debt and stuff like that. So they're looking towards fixing some of the problems that were put into place from previous presidents. So that's kind of interesting to see that. But those are just the policies that he is the face of. I do not think that Donald Trump is himself the driver. I do think he has small short-term impacts based on what he says. The direction of the market doesn't completely depend on his word. It doesn't bend to his every word. Basically, I think that he when he says something or says some very little things, the market takes an immediate effect, but it's only short term. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, he said that, but we don't really care. But we did for a second. Some people sell off, and stocks go down to based on what he says. It's really interesting to see the kind of power he has in a short term way, but it's even more interesting to see that how his policies, the policies of the Republican Party wants to implement, with Donald Trump being the face of it, how that affects the direction of the market. So since a lot of investors are pro-business, pro less regulation, pro lower taxes, it's really interesting to see how the market is kind of like based on his speculation. It's going up, assuming that he will be able to hold on to his promises, and that's the only thing we're waiting on now is, can Donald Trump deliver? So trading with Trump, just be careful about what he says, and then take a look on what he's going to do and if he's going to reform this country. And if he does, then take a look at more bullish markets in the future. That's basically my take on it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, please comment and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.